In a bright village surrounded by tall trees lived a kind couple named Tunde and Adiz. They had a small, warm house full of love, but something was missing. A child to fill their home with laughter. One day, Tunde and Adaeze visited the village orphanage, a place where children without parents lived, hoping to find joy and maybe a new family member. There, they met a little girl named Zola. She had sparkling eyes like stars and a smile that warmed their hearts instantly. "Hello, Zola," Adea said gently. "Hi." Zola replied happily, her voice bright as a songbird. They played together, laughter filling the room. Tundi and Adeze felt a magical connection, like Zola was the missing piece of their family. Tunda asked, "Would you like to live with us, Zoa?" Zola's eyes lit up. "Yes, please," she said, bouncing with excitement. Hand in hand, they walked to their cozy home, ready to start a new life, all of love and adventure. Zola quickly felt she belonged. Each morning, warm hugs and the smell of Arieze's cooking greeted her. Wiese taught Zola to cook, while Tunde showed her how to plant colorful flowers that danced in the sunlight. Zola's days were full of new lessons and fun. Every night, she fell asleep to Adea's stories about stars whispering to the moon. One sunny morning, Adea smiled and said, "Zola, you're going to be a big sister soon." Zola's heart jumped. "Really?" she exclaimed, clapping her hands. A few months later, the house was filled with even more laughter and tiny cries. Twins were born. 2 girls named Sada and Imani, newborn. The twins had soft curly hair and giggled like little bells. Zola loved them at once. She helped Adiza by folding tiny clothes and singing lullabies that made the babies smile and wiggle. The house grew fuller, every corner echoing with baby sounds and children's laughter. At night, the family cuddled together. Tunde read stories about brave warriors and clever princesses. Zola felt proud and loved. She couldn't remember a time before her little sisters. The family's happiness blossomed like flowers in the warm sun. But one evening, dark clouds covered the sky. Tunde and Adeze were coming home from the market when their car met with a terrible accident. The village felt a cold shiver that night. The house was silent. No bedtime stories, no laughter. Tunde and Adeze had passed away, leaving Zole and the twins Sade and Imani alone. The next days were quiet and heavy. The sisters held each other, trying to understand why their parents never returned. Zola wiped away her sister's tears and tried to be strong, but when she was alone, she looked at the stars and whispered, "I miss you, Mama and Baba." The farm was all they had left, filled with chickens clucking, cows mooing, and fields growing vegetables. The farm was their parents' pride, and now it was their home and responsibility. Seasons changed, and the farm continued to provide. They sold eggs, milk, and fresh vegetables at the market. As villagers loved their produce and often asked, "How are you, little ones?" "We're okay, thank you," the sisters smiled. Managing the farm was hard, but it helped them feel close to their parents. Every harvest reminded them of their love. One bright afternoon, the sisters invited family for a big gathering under the old baobab tree. Everyone laughed and shared stories, but after lunch, an aunt named Adana stood up, clearing her throat. Adana's voice was serious. "I have something important to say about Zola." Whispers spread like wildfire. "She isn't really Tunde Anadese's daughter. She was adopted," Adana claimed sharply. Zola's heart sank. Her sisters squeezed their hands tightly to show support. Anano's voice grew sharper. "I think Zola wants the farm and fortune for herself." Gasps and murmurs filled the air. Zola felt tears burn her eyes. Shari stood up, her face flushed. That's not true. Zola is our sister no matter what. Despite their defense, doubt and suspicion grew in the family like weeds. Visits from relatives grew fewer. When they came, their smiles were tight and cold. One cold morning, some aunts and uncles came with stern faces. Adana spoke for them. It's best if Zola leaves the farm. We can't trust her. Shade and Imani protested, but the relatives wouldn't listen. Their minds were poisoned by greed. With a heavy heart, Zola packed a small bag with her favorite things. A picture with her parents, a book, and a wooden horse carved by Tunde. I love you, Saeed and Imani, Zola whispered, hugging them tightly. Remember, I'm always your sister. Zola walked away, leaving the only home she had ever known. Her sister's cries echoed in her ears. She wandered far, feeling alone but holding a small flame of hope that one day she'd return. Zola found work in a small village, tending a garden and selling vegetables at the market. Life was hard, but she never let hardship harden her heart. She shared what little she had with those in need. Back at the farm, Saida and Mari grew stronger, watching closely as relatives showed their true, greedy colors. Together, the sisters planned to find Zola and reunite their family, knowing only together could they protect their home. Finally, after much searching, Saide and Imani found Zola tending her garden. Tears and hugs sealed their promise to face the future united. They returned to the farm, ready to fight for the family's legacy and rebuild what had been broken. With love, courage, and hope, the three sisters stood strong. A true family bound by heart, ready for whatever came next.